it's acute. A is less than H, we have no solution. If A is equal to H, we have one solution. If A is greater than or equal to B, we also have one solution. And if H is less than A, is less than B, we have what are considered two solutions. H is the height of the triangle. Okay? So the procedure in doing these, we're going to sketch the triangle with the given information. That is suggested to you. It'll help you to organize everything. All right? If A is obtuse, use the chart above to find a solution. If it does have one, find it. If A is acute, determine if A is greater than or equal to B. If so, solve the triangle. Means find all the missing sides and angles. If A is less than B, find H. The height of a triangle using sine functions with A as the angle, little a is the opposite side, and B is the hypotenuse. Compare H to A and determine the solutions if possible using the chart above. All right. So that's what it's going to look like using that. For those of you that like charts and need that checklist, go ahead. I'm going to tell you, because of the situation we're all in, we're going to give you a consolidated version of what you got to work with. And this is that consolidated version. Okay? If when you're using law of sines, the sine comes out to be greater than 1. All right? If the sine comes out to be greater than 1, you have no solution and you move on with your life. All right? If sine is less than 1, all right, you find the angle and you find its supplement. All right, the supplement you find by subtracting from 180. All right, if both work, and we'll go through examples in a second. If both work, you have two solutions. If one doesn't work, if only one works, you have one solution. So that's how I would do it rather than dealing with H and all that. Okay? So that's basically the consolidated version of what's everything above. If sine is greater than 1, we're going to have no solution. If sine is less than 1, you find the angle and its supplement. Find its supplement, you subtract from 180. All right? And if both work, you have two solutions. If only one works, you have one solution. All right, so an example. All right, an example. They tell you A is 42 degrees, A is 22 inches, and B is 12 inches. Find the remaining sides and angles. So, here's our triangle. All right, there's capital A, which is 42 degrees. All right. Little a, which is always opposite it, would be 22 inches. All right. And you can put B there. I would put B there because it's easier to do it visually. Okay. All right. So now we have to find the remaining sides and angles. The first one we're going to find is angle B. So this is the first step, is to find B. All right. So the sine of 42, which is what the measure of A is, over 22 equals the sine of B over what's opposite it, which is 12. All right. Everybody good so far? All right, so this is exactly what we did yesterday, which you should have been doing for homework either last night or tonight. Don't forget, that homework is due tonight. This part of the ambiguous case won't be in that homework. There'll be a separate assignment with that. When we cross multiply, it's 12 sine 42 equals 22 sine B. All right, we get that by cross multiplying. All right, we would then divide by 22 to cancel out the 22. And we do that math, B equals 0.3650, not B, the sine of B, sorry. So the sine of B equals 0.3650. All right. We then do the second sine, 0.3650 in our calculators or computers, whatever we're using to do our homework. All right. And the calculator will shoot out 21.4 degrees. All right. You then automatically subtract that from 180 and you get 158.6. Okay. Now, if you look at the 42, which they gave you, and the possibility of 158.6, and we add them together, we get 200. The angles of a triangle are equal to 180. So 200 is already too big. So I can cross that out. It's no longer a possibility. As a result, I know I have one solution. All right. So I'm going to label the 21.4 here, which is what I got, and that's all I need. All right. And then I'm going to add these and subtract from 180 to get angle C. That's going to be 116.6 degrees. So I have my three angles. Okay. So I got the missing angle. All right. I got both missing angles. Now I need to get this side. All right. So now I'm going to use sine of 116.6 over C, the missing side, equals the sine of 42 over 22. All right. I'm going to cross multiply everything. C ends up being equal to sine 116.6 times 22 divided by the sine of 42. And when I do that math, C comes out to be approximately 29.4. All right. Everybody good thus far? Any questions at all? Everybody follows why we can eliminate the 158.6? Why we only have one solution? All right. Check something real quick. Yep. Okay. So okay. So the next one, A is 85 degrees, A is 15, and B is 25. So here's my drawing. All right. Here's my 85-degree angle representing angle A. Opposite that would be little a, so that's the 15. And then the 25 goes there, making that angle B. All right, so there's my drawing. All right, so using law of sine, sine of 85 over the opposite side, which is 15, equals the sine of B over 25. I do 25 sine 85 divided by 15 when I cross multiply. All right, so I got 25 sine 85. And I divide that by 15. And I get 1.6603. Okay? As we all know, 1.6603 is greater than 1. Whenever you get the sign of an angle greater than 1, you simply write no solution and you move on with your life. All right. All right, now for the last one. All right, we need to make a small change. First off, this should be little a, not capital A. So A is 12 meters, little b is 31 meters, and instead of 60 degrees, this should be 20.5 degrees. Okay. So I draw my triangle, A and B, along the horizontal. A is the 20.5. Opposite A is little a, which is 12. Opposite B is the 31. And I go to work with law of sines. Sine of the angle they give me, 20.5, over the opposite side, which is 12. So they're only going to give you one angle. All right, equals sine of B over 31. All right, when I'm done cross multiplying, I end up with a sine of B is equal to 0.9047. All right, so that's just 31 sine 20.5 divided by 12. When I do second sine, B comes out to be 64.8 degrees. Okay, since the sine was less than 1, we know we have solutions. So we're going to automatically just subtract that from 180. And we get 115.2 degrees. Now you compare it. Okay? If I look at 115.2 and I compare that to 20.5, that means it's possible. So this is an example of when we have two solutions. Okay? So basically you're going to have two different situations. One where this is 20.5 and this is 115.2. And one where this is 20.5 and 64.8. All right. You then add these up and subtract from 180. 20.5 times 115.2 is 135.7. Subtract that from 180 and you get 44.3. 20.5 plus 64.8, all right, is 85.3. Subtract that from 180 and you get 94.7. All right. So to figure out what C is, we have the angles. Figure out the two possible values of C. We're going to take sine 20.5 and put it over 12 and set that equal to the sine of the first one, which is 44.3 over C. So that's one possibility. And then we're going to do the same thing, sine of 20.5 over 12 equals sine of the 115.2 over, and then you're going to solve them both. All right. So the first one, when I multiply 12 sine 44.3, all right, and I divide that by the sine of 20.5, I get 23.9. So that's one possibility. All right. And then when I come over here, basically the math's the same, it's just the numbers are different. I'm going to do 12 times the sine of 115.2. This shouldn't be 115.2, I apologize. That's the 94.7. I got the wrong angle on that. So it should be 12 sine of 94.7. And I divide that by the sine of 20.5. I get 34 point. Everybody good? Okay, so here's the idea behind it. Okay, we're looking at some sample problems. All right. Problem number 1 says angle B is 13 degrees. C is all right. All right. C is 103, A is 24, find C. All right, they're giving you 2 angles. This is not ambiguous. This is angle, angle, side. All right, so therefore you do not have to worry about it. All right, there is no need to worry about the ambiguous case when they give you 2 angles. When I draw it out real quick, A, B, and C, okay? Little a is the 24, capital B is the 13 degrees, C is the 103, all right? All right, to get A, I would add the 2 and subtract from 180, and I get 64. That enables you to do law of sines. All right, so I go to work. Sine of 64, which is that one, over the side opposite it, which is the 24. We're trying to find little c, so that goes there. Angle C is 103, so sine 103. And when I'm done doing all my cross multiplying that we talked about yesterday, I get 26 meters. All right. Okay. If I look at number 2, the measure of angle B is 23 degrees, A is 25, B is 12. Find C. All right. So again, I draw my triangle to give me structure. All right. And I can put A, B, and C wherever I'd like. All right. So B is 23. A is 25, and little b is 12. B, the angle in the corner, the one they give me, sine 23 over the opposite side, which is 12, equals the 25's there, which is opposite A, so that's the sine of A. When I do all my cross multiplying, I have 0.8140, the sine of A. I then do second sine, and that gives me an angle measure of 54.5. All right, I then automatically subtract that from 180, and I get 125.5. All right, I then look at the 23. The acute one's always going to be okay. It's the obtuse one that you got to check. So you never have to check that one. That one will always be. So you know you have one solution. When I do 125.5, okay, that's possible. All right, so this could be either 54.5 or 125.5, because when I add that to the 23, I'm still less than 180. All right, that gives me 2 possibilities for C, one with the 23 and the 54.5, so that'd be 102.5. One with the 23 and the 125.5, I add them up, I got 148.5. Subtract that from 180, I got 30. Okay, problem's asking me to find C, therefore I have 2 different situations. Sine of 23 over 12 from the information they gave me equals the sine of one of the angles, doesn't matter which. All right, you can do 102.5 over C. And then you cross multiply. The second one would still be the sine 23 over 12 equals, we already used the 102.5, so we got the 31.5, so the sine of 31.5 over C. And then basically you got to do 2 different problems. All right, last one for today, number 3 on that sheet. The measure of angle A is 91 degrees. C is 34 and A is 22. Find B. All right, A is 91, so the sine of 91, all right, over little a, which is opposite it, is 22, equals the sine of c over the other side they give me, which is 34. Again, I cross multiply. 34 sine 91 equals 22 sine c. And then divide by 22. When I do that, it'll give me sine c. That comes out to a decimal of 1.545 is sine of c. Sine cannot be greater than 1. And again, therefore it has no solution. All right, so again, number one, if they give you two angles, all right, you don't have to worry about the ambiguous case. You're just going right to work. Number two, in the side-side angle situation, all right, if the sine comes out to be less than 1, you figure out both angles and see if they both work.
Owner of the black Nissan G48KGB, please move your vehicle immediately in the bus lot. The owner of the black Nissan, please move your vehicle.
All right. And then finally, number three, when the sign comes out to be greater than 1, we just write down no solution and move on with our line. All right. Does anybody have any questions at all? Everybody's good? Yep. Okay. So here's what we got. Okay. Tomorrow we will go through 4, 5, and 6 to make sure we got all this covered. So if you want to get started, it's up there if you feel good about the ambiguous case. All right. There it is, 3. All right. Here's the second homework, which is the law of sines ambiguous case. All right. If it has 0 solutions, you just write no solution. If it has 1 solution, you just do that. If it has 2 solutions, you do both. Okay? So tomorrow we will finish this up to make sure everybody's good to go. And then that means, and then we have to do area of a triangle, which will be pretty straightforward. All right. Thursday, we will do together word problems to make sure we all understand that. And then Friday's your quiz. All right. So this is the second one that is not due tonight, due tomorrow night. Don't forget. All right. That ticketing. Nope. What am I doing? Classwork. Law of sines homework 1. This is the one that is due tonight at midnight. 12 problems. There are no ambiguous cases. You're just working on that. All right. Don't forget, solving each triangle means you find all the remaining sides and angles. All right. Everybody good? Everybody's good? All right. Have a great day. I'll stay here till 10:45, which is 7 more minutes. But you're free to go and start working on those assignments. Stay safe, and we'll see you all here tomorrow.